I got a sink full of dishes and laundry out the ass. I keep telling myself this too shall pass. The rays are on the live stream, wanting justice to be done. Getting a conviction will be so damn fun, 'cause the hussy's going down. When she's sent to prison, her smile's gonna turn to a frown. What do y'all think of that, huh? That's called blues. Alright, we're back, y'all. The afternoon of day 9 of the Lori Daybell trial. What do we got here? We got them all on here. Get it, girl, says Jody Allen. Alright, now Judge Boyce is back on the bench. Jurors about to be brought in. I've met a lot of people who have traveled near and far to attend the trial in the courtroom, says Nate Eaton. A couple from Orem, Utah introduced themselves to me today. I've met folks from California, New York, Idaho, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, Louisiana, Texas, and even Australia. Nicole Heidman, the FBI agent that's on the stand, remains on the stand, and Fremont County prosecuting attorney Lindsay Blake is conducting the questioning. Blake asked to admit another PowerPoint presentation. That's right, Harley 62. Lori's going down. Her smile will turn to a frown when she gets to prison. Yes, sirree. She's gonna know what it means not to be free, yeah. Hello, Kim Richardson, RDNAC, Gene P, Julie Cole. Y'all, we're into this now. Y'all remember this woman FBI agent, Nicole Heidman. Thomas objects to admitting some of the pages in the exhibit. Blake asks Heidman some follow-up questions so she can explain why it's relevant and should be admitted. Boyce overrules the objection and the presentation will be allowed in. So anyway, y'all. Kelly Cantrell, I don't sing all that well. I butcher the hell out of stuff, but I'll tell you what, my heart's in it. The Rays on here, they are absolutely brilliant folk that have moved us forward for 2 years. I'm so very blessed to have gotten to know them all. Rowan to you says, this is so wrong, but I hope Lori never gets a pickle again. Yeah, I said that, says Rowan. Trust me, Rowan. If she can make a deal with someone in the kitchen, she might be able to get her a big amount, real big amount of mashed potatoes so she can stiffen them up and kind of make her own shape out of it. Or perhaps she'll get a cucumber or a kielbasa. One of those big kielbasas, y'all. Hi, Dog Mom. How are you? Okay, now let's get focused in. 2 documents were found in Lori for Style at iCloud.com. One was titled 7 Archangels, and the second was Presiding Council of Archangels. In the first document, there was a discussion of malachite, Raphael and James. Tuesday was mentioned. Chad and Lori were married on a Tuesday. In the second document, the names Elena and Lily were mentioned. The color green and Tuesday was mentioned. Let's just stop there for a second. Do y'all notice that Lori, she gets this Elena and Lily stuff? You know what that is, don't you? Chad created that because, see, Lily she's probably got a different way of doing things, if you know what I mean, with old Chatty boy. And Elena is the one that, has been married to him all these times. And for those that are not aware of it, all you have to do is Google Chad Daybell's novel to Lori. It is the smuttiest, nastiest, soft porn. Now, that's just my opinion. Some people might think, ain't nothing to that compared to what they've got on the TV and cable this day and time. But it was pretty smutty. But, this goes back to that dang role playing, don't y'all know? I would think Raphael would be the one that sweeps her off her feet and, this James the Just stuff. I mean, come on, y'all. This was role playing and it was all geared toward sexual stuff. Come on. This has nothing to do with anything else but that. And the color green, and they were married on a Tuesday. Well, I'll tell you. It don't matter what day these crazy people were married on. I know they like significance and dates and years and months and patterns and all that other stuff. But the bottom line is it was a very evil union. Chad and Lori conducted Google searches for malachite in May of 2019. That is before Charles Vallow's dead. It's before Tammy and the kids are dead. According to Heidman's review of their search history, on August 14th of 2019, Lori tried to purchase 2 glow-in-the-dark malachite rings from Etsy. She wanted them to glow in the dark. That way when they had their castings and their dark circles, see, these people are nut jobs. They're evil, diabolical nut jobs. She wanted to be able to say, I put my arm to the square, and as she holds her hand up in the air, the thing glows in the dark. And all these stupid people that want to believe in this stupid stuff, they're like, ooh, it's so magical. It's so awesome. Give me a break, y'all. Give me a break. As we recall, she wanted to place that order. The credit card had been denied, but the order did come through at one point because the guy told the one on Etsy that created them or sold them on that Etsy page, said that he had finals and didn't have time to fill her order. And he just tweeted this again. The shipping address was to Lori's home in Chandler. The manufacturer was unable to fulfill the order. Lori tried to order 2 more rings in August of 25th and have them shipped to Rexburg. Her credit card was declined. Now, we never heard that about her doing that more than once. Other than the other time being I thought that she did with this one fella, and the guy said he couldn't fulfill her order, so I thought she went on to Amazon and got those cheap-ass malachite rings. But in between that, in total, y'all, she tried 3 times. Y'all think perhaps that was an omen? Telling Lori, don't do this, don't do this. I mean, they seem to think every damn thing in the world is significant. I guess she must have thought, I've tried twice. I'm going to go on Charles's Amazon account, and this time I hope it works. This is the dark canes in the world trying to keep me from my king. And then when it worked on Amazon under Charles Vallow's name, this is significant. It was on my murdered husband's account, so he's telling me it's okay. You know she had to think about something stupid like that. Lori tried to purchase a ring again on October the 2nd of 2019, and that was the day that Brandon Boudreaux was shot at, through Charles Vallow's Amazon account. Another ring was purchased that day through an online jewelry store. Size 11 and a half was originally ordered, or 11.5 was originally ordered, and we know that's Chad's fat ass finger. But I'll tell you something, I don't give a damn how big Chad's fingers were. He wasn't going to feel anything. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to feel it. If he wasn't careful, I mean, he needed like maybe some one of those cliffhanger type of gear in case he fell in. You know what I'm saying? 2x4, strap that bad boy on. It might need to be a little bit long in length though. That ring was returned and repurchased as a size 11 on October 4th of 2019. Tammy Daybell was pronounced dead on October 19th. After she died, the size 11 ring was returned and a size 10 was purchased. There is no evidence the size 10 was returned. So Lori, you know, she had a few hit and misses there, but the ring was sent back, and y'all, those rings were $40. I mean, you know, I think about that and I think, well, this is stuff we didn't know. We didn't know they had all this hit and miss on trying to get these malachite rings. But it's just silly. It's so stupid. Yeah, Tina Reddington. Chad's getting smaller. I'll tell you what. I mean, y'all, we're adults here. This setting is for no children allowed on here. I'm telling you, when you get into that sexual stuff and you're damn pumping it, and you're doing it all the time. Wasn't Lori saying, I'm going to do it 2 or 3 times a day? I'll tell you what, that'll take the weight off that damn lumpy dumpy guy. They say you work every muscle in your body, whether you're a man or a woman, when it comes to sexual relations. Y'all know it. You know what I'm talking about. He lost that weight with him and Lori doing all they were doing, and on top of it all, she wanted to slim him down, don't you know? She wanted to cut his hair and make it look so trendy. She wanted his clothes the certain way. He never dressed like that before getting to Lori. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. Lollipop Gill says, Lumpty Dumpty, you damn Skippy. Oh, Gene P, are you laughing at me? T.S. Jackson 72, are you laughing at me? Denise, are you laughing at me? Lori Colley, dodging bullets. Oh my gosh, dog mom, y'all all laughing at me. Why can't you just take me seriously? Now the rings are similar to the rings seen in Chad and Lori's wedding photos. Lori is staring at the screen on the defense table as evidence is being presented. And y'all remember at her one hearing, she wore that black hair tie around her finger. I signaled old chatty boy, I'm still your queen, Chad. I've got my unicorn ponytail. I'm hopping up and down in the chair, smiling, saying cheese to everybody. I'm looking everywhere. Before they take the cameras out of the courtroom, I got to find out where that camera is so that I can look into it with my gorgeous looks, Lori thinks. She looked diabolical. We are now viewing a text from Chad to Lori on July the 13th, y'all. That's 2 days. 2 days after Charles Vallow was murdered. The message says, concerning the 2 weeks, BYU Idaho's graduation is July 23rd. Adam is getting his bachelor's, and Leah and Joe are getting their associates. And you know what this sounds like to me? Chad and Lori are trying to figure out what they're going to say about Tylee. And he's also bringing into view that there are people that he knows that are at that dang college campus, and they're trying to figure out whether they can go around telling everybody that Tylee's at BYU, Idaho. It's absolutely lines up. And any juror that can't see that is not listening. They are all walking in the same commencement ceremony. I feel like she will be gone by then, but I will still have the hoopla to deal with. So I believe that's why the Lord is making me wait. Adam and Joe are Chad's son-in-laws. Leah is his daughter. So he's trying to say, basically, in my opinion, and this is just from first looking at it, y'all, his daughter is there, but she's going through commencement, and he's like, this hoopla and all this, and the Lord is making me wait and all this and that. They need to make sure that people are not around that know them, because if Chad's going to bring Lori in the picture, maybe from there, that's when they decided to say Lori died 2 years ago, or Lori was an empty nester. But if they were going to have to say Lori's daughter, Tylee, was there, they wanted to make sure there wasn't nobody in Chad's family or anyone else that they knew that could say, well, I haven't seen Tylee on campus, you see? On July 22nd of 2019, Chad and Lori texted each other regarding Kauai and the plan. Chad texted Lori, love you, and said he was going to see the other side of heaven too with his son. And Lori responds, I love you. So he's letting Lori know that they're going to see the other side of heaven. And I'm sure this is part 2 or whatever, the second part of the other side of heaven. Chad responds by saying, not as much as I love you. And Lori tells Chad he will love the scenery as it's very similar to Hawaii. And Chad responds, hopefully we can be there soon. And that was in July, y'all. July 22nd of 2019. They already were starting to talk about Hawaii, y'all. Heidman says wedding records indicate Lori wanted to marry Chad on November the 5th, 2019. That's the day they were married and they exchanged rings. So this wasn't Chad pushing Lori about a date or anything. This was Lori. She was going to have her way. You know, she murdered her kids as Chad and Alex planned. She's done her part and he's done his part with Tammy. So now she wants her way. She wants her wedding date on November 5th of 2019. She got the full meal deal on it, and now she's going to be going to prison for the rest of her life, and so is that fat ass Sheehan. I see nothing updated on Cresha K. Easton's Twitter feed. Remember, folks that are new here, Cresha K. Easton is the aunt of JJ Vallow, along with Kay and Larry Woodcock being her parents. She has a channel on YouTube called Difficult Research. Please go subscribe, lend some support to a victim's family member. Now the attorney's meeting for a sidebar with the judge. White noise is played in the courtroom, y'all. So we're waiting on this sidebar. We don't know what all they're going to be talking about. That's right, Janae Jones. Kay requesting a wellness check on JJ. Otherwise, they may never have been called. You know, I've always told the Rays that where did they see this end game? Was Kay and Larry and even Lori's parents, who were grandparents to Tylee and JJ, were they all just going to say, oh, well, we ain't seen the kids in forever, or whatever? And I always said that it was Chad and Lori's plan. I believe it. They were going to go off into another country, perhaps Colombia or Mexico or anywhere else for that matter. What could anybody have done to say, we want to see JJ and Tylee? Chad and Lori could have just cut all communication off with everyone. You think that's extreme? Well, I'll tell you what, they'd have done it to keep their asses out of prison, don't you think? This whole concept that everybody's like, well, why would they do this and think they'd get away with it? Because people would have been asking. Kobe, Summer, any of them would have said something, folks. It was never about them thinking it was the end of the world. It really wasn't. What the hell? What? They're going to go ride it out in Hawaii? They're asking David Warwick to come to this real estate transaction and buy this property? Come on. Chad, while Lori's in jail before Chad is arrested, is calling about getting a concrete slab on his property. We know why for, but he's telling them, I want to put a modular home on here. The bottom line is there was never going to be any end of the world. It was never, how they went along and they changed stuff, and every time they predicted something would happen, they'd say, oh, it's agency and all this. Who says they wouldn't have come out and said, after really getting a good crowd of cult members in there, well, guess what, y'all? We were told it was going to be the end of the world soon and that we're the king and queen of the church of the firstborn, but we've been told by divine revelation, seeing beyond the veil, that this is going to take a little longer than we originally thought. We still got to build the temple. We still got to do all this stuff. Give me a break, y'all. These people are nut jobs. That's right, CHP. They could have. They had many options available to them besides murder. But they chose to do what they did, and now they can reap what they sow. It's just as simple as that. I mean, come on, y'all. None of us would ever go out here and do something like that. But even when we make mistakes, even when we do things sinful, I think all of us have done that from time to time. The bottom line is you reap what you sow, no matter what you do wrong. And, they got a whopper of a reap and sow there. They got a tough row to hoe, y'all. Being in prison, getting acclimated to their new surroundings and routines and all of their quote-unquote community that they're going to have to deal with in prison the rest of their lives. Baba, Jacinda, all of these things, the way they eat, the way they shit, the way they do everything. All right, y'all, the state needs to obtain some additional records, so we're taking a 10 or 15 minute recess. So while we're doing that, I'm going to finish up where I had asked on the community wall, if you had a question for the jurors, what would it be, and what witness would you want that to be? I am filling air so that we don't have to sit here and wait 10 or 15 minutes, and I'll try to get to some of y'all's comments as well. Kitty Caruso says, I would have asked Melanie Gibb why she originally lied for Lori to a police officer over a missing child. Also, I would ask Melanie Gibb and David Warwick, and eventually Melanie Pulaski, if they were present, y'all, during the murders. Not that you'd ever get an answer straight out. They'll lie. They don't want to go to prison. If they witnessed the murders, put them on the spot on the stand, says Kitty Caruso. Well, I'll tell you what, these people will never, ever, ever confess the truth. And this goes back to what OKJ has said time and time again. If you've done something wrong, this is my belief. This might not be something y'all believe in, that's fine. But this is my demonstration of myself. You cannot ask for forgiveness unless you confess with the mouth. It's the way it is. And they're not going to. They're going to lace their lies with truths. They're going to lie by omission. They're going to do anything and everything, y'all. Anything and everything to keep themselves out of prison. This is exactly why you've got Lori and Chad both pleading not guilty. They both want to go down this road. They want the full meal deal. They want to roll the dice and it land on snake eyes because they're snakes. Fine, let it happen. I think it's regrettable for the victims' family members who deserve closure and as much truth as possible. And on a side note, I do believe the taxpayers of Idaho would have appreciated if they'd have just fessed up to their BS. But it's not going to happen. So then we got Froggy. And Froggy says if they drugged JJ at night and the podcast lasted past midnight and then a bad dream, when would JJ have woke up, jumped on the counters before they got up at 8? And that was a Sunday night. Where was Chad? When do we get the phone pings of everyone that night? And let me stop there before I finish it. And that makes a lot of sense. If Melanie Gibb and David Warwick says they got up at 8 and if you really want to believe anything they say, which I don't, but let's just for sake of argument, you would think that Melanie Gibb and David Warwick would have heard JJ down there jumping up around on the cabinets and doing all that. And what time would have JJ been up? You know what I'm saying? So you can shoot down every aspect of what Melanie Gibb and David Warwick says. Also, where was Chad? When do we get the phone pings of everyone that night? Well, the only phone evidence that we've got so far is Melanie Gibb in the middle of the night texting and calling Lori and texting and calling Chad. So that's interesting, and I believe that she knew they were together, and I think she knew the deal, basically. But Froggy's question is for the jury would be, are you following all of this? He's asking the jurors, are you following all this? Or she? I don't know who Froggy's either a man or a woman, I'm not sure. Are you following all this, jury? And is it believable? What makes me mad is Chad is still making money on his books, and that he is just another Charlie Manson. And so, yeah, there are a lot of people, when this case started going on Amazon, they were curious. They wanted to know what Chad Daybell said in all of his books. And I always said, and the Rays always said it, Herbie say it, is don't do it. Don't finance this SOB. Don't do it. But people have a right to do what they want to do. But you know and I know, people want to know what evil is. They'll get it out of Chad Daybell's books. He can dress it all up. He can make it sound normal. The bottom line is you see the result of it. And as far as Chad Daybell talking about he had near-death experiences, it's funny how he picked that up after Suzanne Freeman, and he saw how Suzanne Freeman was making all that damn money and how she was selling books and all that. So he took a little from her. He took some from Julie Rowe. His own brother and others said he never had talked about NDEs before until he started getting in with these people. You would think, and even Suzanne Freeman, who that's her niche, near-death experiences that she's had. She says that usually people that she talks to that have near-death experiences are very, very open about their near-death experience. But she said the whole time she knew Chad, he never spoke of it. That tells me a lot. Now, Summer Tulock says 2 parents stood trial for the death of their son for not getting him medical treatment. He was 3 months old and had pneumonia. They belonged to the Church of the Firstborn. Maybe that is why Lori quit filling JJ's medicines. Their doctrine forbids it. And this Summer Tulock also gave the link on the article. You can find that on the community wall under the question that I asked. I'm sure there are more than one Church of the Firstborn. Everybody thinks they're the damn king and queen. Everybody wants to be the big boy or the big girl. They all want to be special. Don't you know? They all want to be special. Dodging Bullet says they all hide behind religion to do their dirty work. Soma Body says struggling author revives career after double murder. Kathleen Curtis, believe me, Chads aren't worth any money. It's kindergarten. We're still in a 15-minute recess. Debbie Buke says the Emperor's new suit. TJ's Race says special to hell. Hello, K-Tech. And Henry says a 5th grader could write better than Chad Daybell. Chad is obviously not bright. Well, I'll tell you what. Just as I've told many of the Rays time and time again, Chad and Lori would have never thought they had anything, that they were anything at all, had they not had these people around them that validated them. In order for a cult leader, and I believe cult leaders, I believe Lori and Chad were even Steven, they have to have people believe them. They have to have a following. Cook Goose in Florida says, I am a writer as a job. Chad is not a writer. Janelle Murphy says, yes, I believe people put them on a pedestal. Definitely. You got to have the believers, don't you know? I guess the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their prophet, Russell Nelson there, just wasn't enough for these people, don't you think? Loin fire. You know, Chad could have wrote a book about loin fire. He could have sold it on, some of these pornography sites, I'm sure. These people that believed all this crap. Will be interesting when the head doctor from prison testifies. I don't know what are you talking about the doctor of Lori who evaluated her? Because I don't know what you mean by that. Debbie Buke says the info is insulting for anyone who inhabits a consciousness. They wanted to appoint themselves gods so that people would follow them and give them all their money, Kathy Barella says. I agree with that. That's really what it come down to. It was all, they had to have the money, because how can they be lowercase g's, right? If they don't have any money, if they live in a rinky-dink, and don't get me wrong, everybody has to live somewhere, but Chad wasn't living in no mansion. The house that Lori had at one time, Charles provided it to her. She sure didn't get it. The chin, the king of plagiarism, says Julie Cole. We're in a 15-minute recess, y'all. Let's see. Did you a question to Melanie Gibb and David Warwick? Did you think or know Chad Daybell was with Lori on the night of the 22nd of September? Would it be logical for you to think to call Chad in the middle of the night if you thought he was with Tammy? Great question. Right, Amica Cream. This excerpt from the Chad's smutty novel there, me and the Rays went through that with Candace and my friend Jenny, which used to be on YouTube. It was so ridiculous. It was hard to get through it. In fact, I tried to get through it, but as it got more steamier, I started getting a little, y'all believe this, I'm telling you, KJ gets to blushing too sometimes. I just, it was a lot like how I felt about when they came out with the wording of Chad's blessing to Alex. I refused to even delve into that with the Rays. I apologized to the Rays. I told them I just couldn't do it. Too much blasphemy. It was too sickening. And here we are, last week, hearing Chad cry and, giving this blessing, and this is supposed to be a beautiful thing. And it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Who needs a puppeteer, Chad? Oh yeah, on that smutty novel, he says that he was trying to do the Blue Muppet for the kids. That's the scary part. That they get together and they talk this around these children. In fact, they had one part where Lori was trying to talk to some kids about his Chad's series there. That's scary. That's really scary. Hopefully these children's parents know not to let their kids read this stuff from here on out. Considering Chad Daybell, Lori Daybell, Melanie Gibbs, Zulema, all of them. Feel the fire from Melanie Gibbs. All that stuff. These people are serial killers, as far as I'm concerned. Cookie Monster, says Marilyn Landis. Yeah, Janelle Murphy, I believe that too. Chad was grooming people through their blessings. He was offering them stuff. I mean, what was it? Zulema said, I started seeing visions when Chad gave me my first blessing. That was her, what is it? She was, I get my revelation or whatever. And then, we're talking, sending Chad a message. Zulema says, help me, my shoulder and everything. And then Chad says it's all gone. And she said her shoulder started feeling better. Well, folks, that's called the placebo effect. And in fact, maybe, you never know. She might have just thought her shoulder was hurting her. Maybe it was all the stress of her being so busy in the temple trying to get rid of Charles Vallow. Maybe that's what it was all about. This woman who says she used or still is a health coach or whatever, she can't take care of her own shit. Come on, you got to get somebody else to do it, to give you a blessing. If you'll notice, the blessings only come for men. Tells me a lot, really. But then again, everyone's got their own belief system. Cindy K, I don't think Chad would have done Lori in. I think he was so whooped. I can see Lori doing Chad in, but I can't see Chad doing Lori in. I think they would have stayed together knowing what they'd gotten away with. They would have went on to basically have years of orgasmic experiences, if you know what I mean, in their damn role playing. Gherkin glory, says Marvin. Well, SQ, if somebody ever does make a t-shirt for that, it'll have to be on Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research. Because, OKJ, number one, I don't handle other people's money. I've got my own money. I don't handle other people's money. This channel has never once taken a penny from anyone. And it's not ever going to until the channel shuts down. So even though that is a wonderful idea, maybe it will, Cresha K. Easton will see fit to put it in her merch shop. Again, y'all, her merchandise shop, if you go to Difficult Research, they've got a KJ and the Ray mug. It's black. It says KJ and the Ray. And underneath it says justice through understanding. So it's not a cup about me. It's about us that are the Rays. KJ and who? The Rays. Go on the merch shop. Get you a mug. This is something we are never going to want to forget, y'all. It's something worth having. And I hope you'll think about it. TJ's Race. A t-shirt that's saying, don't you know? Okay, y'all. The bailiffs have seized a phone that has gone off in the courtroom. The judge and jurors are back following the recess. I wonder whose phone that was. Hope it ain't one of the victim's family members. Things like that can happen. Donna says, I think their religion was all love fantasy. I don't see the word love at all. None at all of Chad and Lori, or Zulema and Alex, or Melanie Gibb and David Warwick, or Melanie P and N. I don't see real love but this is just me. God is love. It's in the scriptures. Not in the Book of Mormon. I don't know what they got in the Book of Mormon. Maybe they've got something similar. I've never read the Book of Mormon. What I'm trying to say is, in Holy Scripture, God is love. It isn't about God loves, because we all know he does, but God is love. And nothing that these people, nothing shows me love at all. Dorothy says, no, love. They don't know what love is. And I believe that. Now, Blake moves to admit another PowerPoint presentation. Thomas objects to the exhibit and asks to discuss it in a sidebar or outside the presence of the jury. You know, I know that Thomas and Archie there have to do the best to give a robust defense, but over and over again, every time they object, it's overruled. It's just a waste of time, but I guess they've got to do it. Janelle Murphy says it's lust masked as love. Dorset UK says Lori wasn't into Chad. She used him and he couldn't resist. And in some ways I could see that, Dorset. First of all, she couldn't have loved him, so I agree with that. But I think it was she really knew what she had to do in order to get Chad. So she had to turn on her womanist kind of ways to develop lust within herself so that he could see what she was emitting out of her to get him horny. You see what I'm saying? This goes back to the naturalness of man and women. Or, you know, what I'm saying, she had to make sure that Chad knew that she was going to present herself in a sexualized way because that would have attracted him. So, thus, you got lust. Lori and Chad can say they loved each other all they want. It wasn't love. Nobody's ever going to convince me otherwise. I don't give a damn if Lori and Chad really deeply in their heart and mind thought they loved each other. The bottom line is love does not create what they did. It's called the fruits of something. Lust can create all kind of crazy shit. But if it would have been real love, it would have had good things come out of it. That's right, Janae Jones. Lust. Hey, Paisley Dreams. Cecilia Jackson makes a great point. She had 5 husbands. Jeez. Well, let me tell you, y'all, there are people out here that get divorced and remarried, maybe several times. That doesn't mean you can't find true love. I found true love with Wayne, and I was a divorcee, and he was a divorcee. We truly love each other. But we understand that the only reason that we ever found each other and the only reason that we can enjoy each other in our life is through our relationship with Jesus Christ. We understand that. For us, it might be different for other people. Everyone has their own belief systems. But in my world, and what I believe and what Wayne believes, if it wasn't, we give the glory for what we have together. We might compliment ourselves, or I might compliment Wayne when he comes here and says he's my best friend and I love him so much. But ultimately, we give the glory of that to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's what we think. We think it wasn't us that found each other. It was the good Lord putting us together. Because it's good. And every good and perfect thing comes from above. And I'm not saying that Wayne and I are perfect. I'm just saying we are good. We've had a great relationship. We don't ever fight. We get along great. We're bestest buddies. We're lovers. We're friends. We're business partners. We're all these things, you know. Now the sidebar is over and Thomas voices the objection in front of the jury. Thomas says the dates of deaths for JJ, Tylee, and Tammy are in the exhibit, but the state has not proven they died on those dates. Okay, y'all. There we go. Do y'all remember back when John Pryor was trying to get the case against Chad Daybell dismissed and he wanted a bill of particulars? Y'all remember that? And even both defenses were saying, y'all haven't let us know or shown us anything that shows they were dead on this. But Boyce tells the jury that the presentation is a demonstrative exhibit, not evidence, okay? So Thomas is voicing his objection, saying that the state hasn't proven that JJ, Tylee, and Tammy died on these dates. Well, what the hell does he think that the state is doing right now? They're presenting what they have. And no, this is not evidence, but what they're doing is saying, we're going to prove this to y'all. And this goes back to the last known date of their life, stuff like that. Now, the exhibit shows dates Chad and Lori visited the LDS temple together prior to their marriage. In 2018, you had November 16th, April 3rd of 2019, April 27th of 2019, September 7th of 2019. Now, let me stop right there. That was the day before Tylee was last seen on September 8th. They were at the temple the day before Tylee ceased to exist. Whether you believe she died on the 8th or into the 9th, we'll never know. They do have evidence of Alex, his GPS overnight going into Lori's when he wasn't known to go there. But we're looking at least a day to 2 days before Tylee was murdered. Chad and Lori are in the LDS temple. Then you've got, after Tylee dies, September 17th of 2019. And then again, September the 28th. That is either, 4 to 6 days after JJ was murdered. Lori and Chad are in the temple on September 28th. And then they have a visit in October, but Nate Eaton says he can't see the date from his seat. That would be significant. Maybe we'll be thinking about that in tonight's audio, y'all. Maybe it will be said out loud, maybe it won't. They visited temples in Idaho, Texas, and Arizona. Their temple recommend cards were scanned within seconds of each other at the temples, except one instance when they were scanned about 20 minutes apart. The day before Tylee died, Lori and Chad visited the Idaho Falls Temple. So there's your answer, y'all. According to Heidman, the FBI agent, JJ died around September 22nd or 23rd. Chad and Lori visited Idaho Falls Temple on the 17th and the Rexburg Temple on September 28th. So when we're, and I think I'm pretty well sure about this, but correct me if I'm not. You gotta be in good standing to get a temple recommend. Lori could tell a bishop, if you don't give me a temple recommend, I'm going to murder somebody. And he's going to give her one thing and she's in good standing. Give me a break, y'all. And you think about this ultimately. The dates that they were visiting the temples before and after the murders of these children, there ain't no telling what they were saying in the temple. It's disgusting. It's absolutely evil and disgusting. They visited the Rexburg Temple on October 29th, 10 days after Tammy died. I wonder what they were saying to themselves or to each other during the time after they murdered all these people. It just goes to show you, y'all. And this goes back to something I believe very, very much. It does not matter what religion it is. People go to church doesn't make them good people. Okay? You cannot put a blanket statement on people that attend church. Because here is proof. This is an extreme. This is extreme right here. I'm not dogging out church-going people. I think church can be good for people. Okay? I'm just saying that if people think, I go to church and let everybody know they go to church and they go every time the door's open. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does it mean they're there to worship God? Or are they there because it's something they're used to doing, they grew up doing, they got to do it, keep up images with everyone? Y'all know I'm speaking truth here. Mal says you have to answer a series of questions about your beliefs and behaviors. Well, it's obvious, Mal. They lied. They lied. Imagine that, huh? I'm sure the Spirit or, they want to use some of these names that I don't believe is the real Jesus Christ or the real Holy Spirit. They want to use that as the reason why they have to keep quiet. Give me a break. Give me a break. Blake has no further questions for FBI Tactical Specialist Heidman. John Thomas will cross-examine her now. And it is currently all 1:54 p.m. in Idaho. They usually run till about 3:30. It's just Robbie says, well, if they want to keep their jobs and stay employed, they got to play the game. And it's my understanding, if you don't play the game, if you're playing the game, you better damn be doing your tithing. Money changes everything. Ann Henry says, my church welcomes everyone. We don't require a recommendation to worship. And Ann Henry, please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that, the bottom line is that man's world is not perfect. It's never going to be. That's a really general statement, but I believe to be a true statement. There is no perfection in this world. The recommend is only for the temple. Everyone can go to church and worship in the Latter-day Saint Church. And Mal, I get that. I get that. But does anybody really want to say that Chad and Lori was in good standing with the church? They went through all these temples. They murdered all these people. I get it. These people in the church, in the temple, when Chad and Lori went in there and swiped their card or whatever, they didn't know this stuff was going on. But the bottom line is you would think that would, the sacredness of that temple would weed this stuff out beforehand, since there's a such thing as revelation. This goes back to Chad being able to see beyond the veil, and Lori, she could have revelation, but Chad was so much better about it. The bottom line is they didn't see this shit coming, did they? That they'd get arrested for their crazy ass beliefs. Jaqui or whatever, you can only get a temple recommendation if your tithes are paid in full. Money changes everything. Thomas asked Heidemann why she thought Ned Schneider was an important term to flag while she was doing the search. He asked if she did any further research to find out the significance of the terms. She says it was a cursory search to aid in the investigation. Obviously, that's common sense, because they knew that this is what these names were all about. It was a pretext. Those names were a pretext to murder, basically. The decency and spiritual growth as LDS was corrupted by Chad and Lori, says Mark McGarry. And let me make clear that all religions at some point or another has these people that are supposed to be affiliated with it. They go off, they do this stuff, and then everybody blames every single person in that religion. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with many other religions and what they believe, but I'm not a bigot. Okay, all I'm saying is I have my faith. There are people out here that can hear me talk about my faith and say, KJ, I don't believe in that at all. That's nonsense. The bottom line is sometimes people get brushed with a broad stroke, and that's not necessarily the right way to go. Kim says hypocrisy is present in all religions. Yeah, and in secular life, people that don't, atheists, all kinds of people. Hypocrisy is not a purely religious term. Hypocrisy happens when people do stuff themselves or have, and then sit there and call out other people for doing it, when they ain't even thinking about that they did it, unless they want to sit there and say, well, I did something like that before. Of course, we're not talking about murder or anything, but what I'm saying is that hypocrisy is it's an open word. It doesn't necessarily have to do with religion. See where you're coming from, Candace Parr. Say one thing and do another, says CHP. Just Looking says, I'm an atheist, and that's exactly right. I couldn't agree more. Carrie Ann, I don't think, maybe she will, maybe she won't. It's already 2 o'clock there. Hey, Adair. So I don't know if she'll go on the stand today. We don't know how long Thomas is going to be dragging this out. Whether another witness will be called, but let's just remember, he's trying to say, Lori's attorney is trying to say that the state has no proof at all, that the children died on these days. And, the jurors have got to look at that, and they've got to wonder, proof of life? Is that all a juror would need? Thomas asked Heidman about the fact she flagged the term Tuesday and thought it was significant because Chad and Lori were married on Tuesday. He says that Tylee and JJ died on Mondays and Tammy died on Saturday, inferring that if Tuesday was so significant, more things would have been done on Tuesdays. Well, I'll tell you what, Chad and Lori wouldn't have wanted that. They don't want to have to remember, that they made it significant that their murder victims died on a Tuesday when they're so gloriously married on a Tuesday. Give me a break, y'all. It's a neither here nor there argument as far as I'm concerned. And let's just remember, the testimony has come out that September 22nd of 2018, Lori, well, not at that time, but after that, Lori told Melanie Gibb back at September 22nd of 2018, that's when she saw Moroni in the temple. That was significant. And JJ was dead, in my opinion, on September 22nd. Some think it's the 23rd. Hey, Mike from Ohio. I see nothing else being tweeted from Crusher K. Easton of Difficult Research, y'all. Yeah, Mohawk Mom. Lori did read his books a year before she met him. It seemed like she was fixated on his writings and wanted to meet him and be with him. You can be sure of that. She believed in multiple probations before meeting Chad. Chad didn't introduce this stuff to her. He introduced this other stuff, the light and dark scales and all that. Now, one has to wonder, did they come up with the zombies together? Probably. Janelle Murphy says the date September 22nd has a meaning in the LDS Church. She thought she found her man that equals to her. Forget Charles that works hard and takes care of her, says Amazing Lynn. Anyone who believes in these people are about as... Let me see what that says. These people are about God needs to join them. God warns of the devil that this is proof right here. Yeah, Karen Holland, when you got Chad Daybell talking about Harry Potter when you speak of this Twilight series and stuff, when, you add in there every thing that you could possibly think of. I mean, just today, horoscopes, the color green, and green also represented the malachite, because malachite is green. You got Tuesday and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it is what it is. Waiting on a refresh, y'all. John Shepherd says it. Oh, chatty boy under the stairs. I feel like I'm trapped under the stairs. And every now and then I get to go out and have beautiful adventures with my goddess lover. These people are cheesy and stale as hell. Joe Jordan, why do you want to tell me that? Chocolate crinkle cookies are finally baked? Why do you want to do that to me? I want a chocolate cookie crumble. That's what I want. I want a crinkle cookie. I want a chocolate crinkle cookie right now. Now that you've done shared that and rubbed it in. Yeah, this alibi of Lori's, it ain't floating, y'all. It ain't floating. Jill Schneider, Chad had to be the main character, don't you know? He wasn't going to be any of these other characters, although I'm sure he wanted to get to the point where he was one of these big, what's his name? Dumbledore or whatever, the wizard of the whole school or whatever. Kathleen Curtis has now got me wanting some chocolate. Well, Kathleen, I've got my Kit Kat bar. Okay, all right, Private Eye, you're right. What comes around goes around. I ate my Kit Kat bar in front of y'all. So you're going to sit here and talk about chocolate crinkle cookies. All right, just to get back at me. That makes you know better than me. John Shepherd says Chad is the ugly troll. I believe it. Now, Thomas asked Heidman to clarify some of the information she explained. During cross-examination, Lori has been taking notes at the defense table. Thomas asked Heidman about the 7 temple trips Chad and Lori took together. He asked if they went in a group, and Heidman says she does not know. She only checked on Chad and Lori's attendance. That would have been important, don't y'all think? Just to see if all the cult members met up at the temple to go in the waiting room. Give me a break. Chad and Lori are not in a sealing room when they get sealed and married. They're in a waiting room, says Melanie Gibb. Give me a break. And don't you know that Moroni and Jesus Christ wanted to seal them in a waiting room? Does that make sense to y'all? Give me a break. Thomas says these 7 visits are only a fraction of the time Chad and Lori went to the temple. Heidman says that is correct. So when I read off those times and the dates, there were significant dates around the times of the murders. This FBI agent says they visited it way more many times. I wonder if they're going to get to how many times Chad and Lori shacked up in a hotel. Huh? How many times did Chad and Lori go to the hotel to get it on? To do the damn sweating and all that other stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Cecilia Jackson. What are you laughing about, Norma Guerrera and Jess? And Dodge Bullet says, doing the nasty. Jennifer Sukup, you laughing at me? The dirty deed? Let me tell you what, that had to be some nasty stuff. I'm telling you. I bet you could smell it all the way down the hallway of the hotel. I bet when them housekeepers came in after Lori and Chad checked out of their hotel room, I bet they had to damn hold their noses. You know it. Lori smells like damn, I'm sure, rotten tuna. Rotten tuna. And Chad probably had all kinds of hairy moles and all kind of nasty stuff. Y'all know it. Y'all know it. Now, John Thomas asked how the temple visits relate to the days of the deaths and what the significance is. Heidman says she put together a timeline showing records. I can't say what the purpose of their visits were, she says. Lori is taking notes. She reaches down and starts scratching her ass. No, I'm kidding. See, I was wondering if any of y'all were even paying attention. Okay, I just wanted to see it. I know that's not what it said. But the other thing was, okay, I just wanted to see if y'all were listening. But again, what really, I wanted to see if y'all were listening. Mariah Stola says yeast. Yeast. She needs some yeast infection medicine. Hairy moles, says Ann Henry. But no, this is what really was said. Thomas asks how the temple visits relate to the days of the deaths and what the significance is. And Heidman says she put together a timeline showing records. I can't say what the purpose of their visits were, says Heidman. Julie Co says, I'm so glad I don't eat fish. They'll have a clinic in the prison there, CHP. But Lori's not going to get the big high-dollar treatment. She's not going to get vaginal surgery to sew that stuff back up because it's flopping in the wind. It's flopping. Don't you know that? She's loose as a goose. Soraya King said that Chad shaved it. He had to shave his ball sack, y'all. Oh. Willie Williams says the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. And you can see Lori and Chad in the hotel room. You put your right hand in, you take your right hand out, but it ain't the hand. You put this in, you put this out, you put this in, and you shake it all about so you can feel it. Oh, beef curtains. Oh, I know, CHP. I shouldn't say those things, though. Now, John Thomas asked some follow-up questions, and for clarification on the cell phone records Heidman has reviewed. Oh, I really do enjoy y'all. Nadine Hanson, my live streams I've been set to the audience of no children. We're all adults here. If I've offended anyone, I apologize. But folks, I'm just an old country girl from Tennessee. And, I might say some things that are a little rough for some people. But I will say this, it was never, absolutely never rough on Lori. She couldn't feel a thing. So, I mean, and Chad just, I mean, he had to move around a whole lot just to try to get some kind of feeling out of it, I'm sure. Jess, are you laughing at me? Daughter of Scotland, are you laughing at me? Little Bronze says it was like Chad had a hula hoop. A hula hoop. Feet first, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. Heidi's Mind says he had to shave because Lori thought it's where he hid his veil. Oh my gosh. Amika Cream says, I refuse to imagine their loin fire. Y'all can't make me do it. And Henry, I'm probably about 45 minutes east of Nashville. Okay? That's where I'm at. I'm in the east. The lower east. Dogmon says, dive gear needed. Didn't we talk about that the other day, that Chad needed the full scuba gear? Huh? Plenty of oxygen. Let's all get along on here. Don't y'all all, we're all on here. These are the people that let's just not focus in on unless we're going to be kind and respectful to one another. Let's do that, okay? RDNAC says that Lori taught Chin how to muff dive. Oh my gosh, Jen Marr's getting sick. Oh, Moonlight View says fire retardant sheets. Y'all are absolutely funnier than all get out. Again, y'all, Thomas has asked some follow-up questions and for clarification on the cell phone records that this woman FBI agent Heidman has reviewed. We're waiting on a refresh. Jill Schneider says, ew, ew, ew. Hi, Teresa Dubin. What was your question? You know what, Teresa? I've never heard of a human sacrifice day. Maybe you're being facetious. But I can tell you this, they had to find some significance in doing what they did. But the ultimate goal was money. You know that, I'm sure. Be free. There are a lot of Rays on here that's got one hell of a sense of humor. They rub off on me and I rub off on them. And I just love the Rays. Nita Smith, I know I should have a muzzle on. I shouldn't say some of these things. But it's just, I can't help it. These people disturb me. And instead of being angry and really, I mean, you wouldn't want to see my anger, my angry comments. I've already had people say, why do you yell so much? Why do you get so angry? Because 2 children have been murdered and 2 Innocent adults, Tammy and Charles, have been murdered, and perhaps Joe Ryan, and the attempt on Brandon's life. And these people want to cloak themselves and say that they believed in Jesus Christ and that Chad was the Holy Spirit, which is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. The bottom line is I don't have, I mean, this is my way of dealing with it. Some other people can just let it be like water off a duck's back. I guess that goes back to all of us have seen so much death, murder, and misery in this world and what man will do to man that maybe we maybe we become desynthesized. I don't know. I don't know. And we're still waiting on Nate. What in the hell made people believe and bow down to Chad? Please tell me. They didn't have any firm, truthful foundation in their belief system. They were willing to basically abandon their beliefs, thinking that they were extending from their beliefs into new progressive areas. The bottom line is people were not happy. Their flesh was not happy. They wanted their ears tickled. They wanted to have more meaning. They couldn't accept that there were people in their established organized religion that had higher callings than them. They wanted to be the one. They wanted to be the one. If they're going to believe that they have a prophet named Russell Nelson, and that's their belief, and that's whatever they believe, and that is the main guy there. And you are one of these people that want to be all that and then some. You're not going to be able to do that in this organized religion. So, I mean, that's just an opinion. The Rays on here know that I have my opinions. I've been wrong about stuff. I've even probably been abrasive about it. I've had things in my life that have kind of shaped me this way. But the bottom line is why can't someone just be happy attending church in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and going to the temple if you receive a temple recommend? Why do you have to go out here and seek all this other stuff outside of what the leaders of the church are trying to guide their membership to, into? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe that's not the way to say it. The bottom line is it's demonstrated right in front of our eyes. It wouldn't have mattered, really, in my opinion, what religion it could have been. My religion, it could have been Christianity, it could have been my religion, that somebody got fanatical and murdered people. The bottom line is this goes back to what OKJ's always said, and that is personal responsibility. And there's man's law and there's God's law. And I know what it says in Holy Scripture where it says to respect the authorities, because there is no power but that of God, and the powers that be are ordained of God. So that's why you're supposed to respect the authorities. Not go off and try to make yourself an authority. These are my opinions. These are my views. Tracy Dale says they wanted to be the king and queen. They wanted to do this Church of the Firstborn stuff. Now, Blake asked a few clarifying questions, and Heidman is released from the stand, but she will be called again later in the trial, so her subpoena remains in effect. Now, we're fixing to find out who's coming up next, y'all. Amica Cream says murder is in our human nature, hence the 10 Commandments. So we don't, basically genocide each other. Well, I'll tell you what, Amica, the bottom line is without God, we're all just a bunch of animals. Really, that's my opinion. Like I said, there are atheists on here. There's people on here, that I can respect. They have a right to believe whatever they want to believe. The bottom line is that that's me demonstrating. Doesn't mean that anyone on here has to believe the way I do. It doesn't mean that anyone even has to like what I have to say. What I do hope is if I share a demonstration of my beliefs or myself or what I think or my opinions or whatever, that people just say, you know what? You can take it or leave it. That's the way I see it. Animals kill for survival. Man kills for greed. Now, John Shepherd, that's true, but also animals do kill to defend themselves. Not all animals that kill another animal is there to eat them. They're there to survive, as you say, and they're also there, that's their meal, or that's their way of escape by killing them. That's true too, Amica. There are some animals that seem to kill other animals for no reason at all. Sounds a lot like human beings, doesn't it? Okay, Jay, my grandmother was half Cherokee. And I've learned a lot. I came from a very old school, old fashioned family. And I believe you can learn a lot from nature. I think God leaves these clues in nature. With that said, I do not glorify nature. I glorify God. That He is the one that created the nature. If that makes sense at all. Okay, here we are. New state's witness. Prosecution calls Nick Balance to the stand. He has been a special agent with the FBI since June of 2016. He is assigned to the Boise Resident Agency out of Salt Lake City Division. Balance is part of the FBI Cellular Analysis Survey Team, the CAST unit, y'all. They take cell phone data, put it on a map, and help track where phones have been. He has used the technology in hundreds of cases, homicides, missing kids, etc. Madison County Prosecuting Attorney Rob Wood is questioning Balance. Balance says there are around 70 to 80 CAST unit employees nationwide. They've been through a lot of training, and there is an extensive certification process. Excuse me. Yeah, Paula. If you got them, you're going to fire them up. Smoke break, says Beach Lady. Dodging bullets. It is a CAST unit. His name is Balance. Ballance. He's with the FBI Cellular Analyst Survey Team. His first name is Nick Balance. You're welcome, dodging bullets. Mom on the case, and some of you raised put it in the comments. Cresha K. Easton's YouTube channel name. Please put it in the comments so that these people that are very interested will go and subscribe to Cresha K. Easton's Difficult Research. Thank y'all. That's right, Jackson. Cecilia Jackson. There's no one on earth without a vice. We all are not perfect. Thank you, Dog Mom. Cresha says she had words with Summer. She'll have it on her live tonight. Y'all, Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research talked to Summer Shiflett, Lori's sister. I'm sure Cresha had some questions and wants to share that with everyone. Y'all got to be there tonight. I'm going to be there. Beverly, we don't know. We don't know. That's why everybody's going to go. Thank you, Mom, on the case. And please, anyone that's new to Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research, spread the word. She deserves it. She's a victim's family member. We all watch these criminal cases or these trials or whatever, and we're always saying, oh, the family, that must be so awful. And it usually comes down to victim impact statements. But Cresha K. Easton has opened up a channel, and she shares herself, a victim's family member, with the world. You're never gonna get that, really, I think. Especially says all the stuff we really want to say. Okay, well, that's sweet. I thought you were talking about Cresha. Cresha is shining a light on the cult, says Candace Parr. Beach Lady says, I'll be watching too. Now, this Nick Balance, who's testifying, and he's with the cast unit, testifies that T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T are the primary cell phone companies in Rexburg. He says your phone utilizes the cell phone tower belonging to your phone even if another company has a cell phone tower closer to you. Highly populated cities have more cell phone towers versus rural areas that will have fewer. Thank you, Just Looking. Jill Schneider says, looking forward to watching Cresha tonight regarding her words with Summer. Miss DMC, there was some testimony that came out about Lori and Chad and Alex's phones, about them thinking that stuff was significant, like the color green, Tuesdays. There's small details that, to the raisin, are significant. There are other things too. Also, Chad's name was Bubby. Bubby. There was all kinds of other stuff. Any of y'all on here want to answer that question for Miss DMC that I've missed? Anything that we've talked about today, please put it in the comments. Let's help one another out. Now, Balance says a traditional cell phone tower has antennas facing 3 different directions or sectors. Yes, Carrie Ann, we all have to be there. Balance says that cell phone companies record the activities of their customers and which towers are used during phone activities. Clumsy Clairvoyant says Cresha has put her life into her study and research, and I 100% agree with that. Jill Schneider, Annie Cushing, I don't go to her channel, but I have looked at her timeline of events under Analytics, and she's very thorough on that. My heart goes out to her. I go out to all, goes out to all the victims' family members. Now, Rob Wood asks about call detail records maintained by cell phone providers. They include who is calling, the time, date, and which tower the call originated from. Cell phone companies have lists of where their towers are located. John Shepard, Cresha is traumatized. She loved her Uncle Charles Vallow. She loved JJ. She loved Tylee. She's even got compassion and love for Tammy. The bottom line is she's gone through a lot. And yet here she is strong. And old KJ calls her my Louisiana sister. I've met her in person. I've met Larry and Kay. We've spent time together. They're good people. What you see is what you get with them. They're good people. Heidi's mind says Cresha's transparency and courage is admirable and empowering. She doesn't water down her truth, and there's no doubt that Charles J.J. Tylee know how hard she fights. She is a voice for them, definitely. And I agree with everything you've said about Cresha. I look up to her. I'm inspired by her. Well, thank you, Maggie. I'm glad you're here. Well, Beverly, KJ can get pretty long-winded too. I can blab on. That's one thing I can do. Some people shut me down right off the first few minutes because they can't handle it. And I don't, everybody, listen, everyone takes in their information when it comes to these podcasts or these channels on YouTube. They all take it in there, what is most comfortable for them. So as I've said many, many times, this channel is not for everyone, but everyone is welcome. We're seeking justice through understanding, and justice through understanding is whatever you want it to be. I don't define it for you. You define it for yourself, because you are the only you're ever going to be. We're waiting on a refresh. Lisa Fisher, are you from the South? Remember, y'all, CIM has said it. Cresha will be live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. When I get done with this live stream, I will post her link, if it's available, on the community wall as well. A lot of y'all say that, Tammy Brown, that I express myself the way you do. I'd love to meet all of you in person. Could you imagine all of us getting together? Oh my gosh. It'd be a hoot. It would be a hoot. Now, Balance talks about a drive test that measures how far out cell phone towers reach. Balance conducted a drive test in Rexburg in June of 2020. And let me just say this to all y'all, we've got people from all over the world on here. And I feel very honored that you would come here and enjoy and join, all of us together to get justice through understanding, or for whatever reason you're here. You can be here for whatever reason you want to be here. That's the way I see it. I love all of you, Renee. That's one thing I do know for sure. Carrie Ann says, Crush is like family to me, along with Kay and Larry. I sure do love them all, and I definitely look up to them all in more ways than one, says Carrie Ann. Low Vihiden, I apologize if maybe that V is silent. I apologize. I'm just old country girl. It's from Germany. And just to give a flavor of that, does anybody want to put where they're from on here while we're waiting on a refresh? Put where you're from. I'm from East Tennessee. Lived here all my life. Jess is from South Dakota. Dodging Bullets is from Canuck. Virginia, says Renee. Minnesota, Beverly. Amazing Lynn, Pennsylvania. Trial Junkie. Oh, Lord, y'all going fast now. Stella F is from Greece. We've got Lord have mercy. Lordy B. We've got a lot of different people in this room. I'm so blessed to have y'all here. Wow. Can y'all believe that? Look at this. It's awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad y'all are here. Wow. Miss Chief's from Middle Tennessee. Miss Chief. Okay. Now, a cell phone will always select the strongest and clearest cell phone tower. And it might not be the closest tower there are obstructions or other obstacles in the way. Balance says you cannot pinpoint an exact location for a cell phone, but you can get a general idea. Wow. Be free, you've said it quite clearly. We are everywhere. Okay, Mr. M, I'll check those out. Love you too, MM. Love all of y'all. I do. I really do. That's one thing I know to be true. I even love people that don't like me. Oh, well. Maybe they need to live with the fact that OKJ loves everyone. And I do. It's not the person, y'all. It's what they do. And in this case, I could sit here and tell you that I love Lori and Chad and Zulema and Melanie Gibb and all them. But when they do what they do, those are the things that OKJ abhorred. I mean, we're talking evil. And I can tell you right now, I hate evil. If anybody wants to say I'm not supposed to hate anyone or anything, I guarantee you, OKJ knows I can hate evil. I can hate Satan. I can hate any of that. I can hate when I sin. But I don't hate myself. I hate what I'm doing when I do it. The CAST unit uses other tools to track a phone in addition to cell phone records like Google location tracking. That's right. It says so in Holy Scripture. God hates sin. That's just the way it is. Now, this testimony might seem a bit on the boring side to y'all, but this is going to go to the heart of when they talk about the GPS coordinates and all this and that. They're going to have to, the state is going to have to prove where these people were and all that. Remember, in the indictment for murder of Lori, from Lori and Chad there, under the overt acts, you didn't see anything in there about Lori's GPS pinged here or there. It was all about Alex Cox. It was all about Chad Daybell sending the dang stupid message there to his wife about shooting a raccoon and burning limb debris and burying it in the pet cemetery. Just Look and said Charles Manson wasn't with his followers either, but got convicted. Great point. We could go down a laundry list, y'all, of all the stupid things these people did, thinking they were going to get away with it. For these people that were so good at hiding out and keeping things under wraps, they sure did leave around a lot of evidence. Lori's iCloud was a veritable gold mine of illegality. Well, you want to hear something interesting, Ivy? I was born and grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee. Yep. Balance prepared a report detailing 30 cellular phone records and multiple Google accounts associated with Lori. It's true, Ivy. How long have you lived there? How long have you lived in Clarksville, Tennessee? My family, a lot of my family still live there. Let's take the last train to Clarksville. 2 years you moved from Gallatin. Well, I'll tell you what, Ivy. When I lived there, I lived in the St. Bethlehem area. They annexed St. Bethlehem and they made it part of Clarksville. And it was a 2-lane road, and now it's so built up, it's 4 lanes across. Well, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lanes across. Everything is shoved together. It ain't nothing the way it used to be when I grew up. Bullseye said, my wife grew up with Leslie Jordan in Chattanooga. Carrie Ann wants to visit Tennessee. Well, I'm going to tell y'all what, if you ever want to come to a beautiful place, yes, it's rural. It's not like the big New York cities and all these big fancy towns and everything. Even Nashville's not all that big compared to the other cities. But if you want to ever see the beauty of God's country, I mean, God's country is all over the United States and the world as far as I'm concerned, but it's beautiful here. And the people here, for the most part, just as it would be in any other place, I'm assuming, are very warm, welcoming people. I always say, you're always home when you come to Tennessee. Now, attorneys are meeting with boys for a brief sidebar. In lieu of an afternoon break, court will continue for another 30 minutes and then dismiss for the day. This testimony is quite technical and some of the jurors appeared tired. So we're in a sidebar right now. Joe Jordan says, I love Tennessee. Rowan 2U says, my town only has 1,200 people. The drive there through Chattanooga is breathtaking, says Beverly. Yeah, the Great Smoky Mountains, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, it's beautiful. I love the monkeys, innocent times before we knew that parents could kill their children. How sad, says Helen O'Cleary. Dodging Bullets said, I lived in Tennessee for a while, loved it there. Trial Junkie, most of the people that are coming from the West are moving into Texas. And if they're going to go far onto the eastern part of the United States, a lot of them are moving to Florida. I would say that Tennessee is getting some in. We haven't got a state income tax. You know, it is part of the Bible Belt. You know, we're not a blue state that has high taxes and all that. But then again, you know, everyone lives differently. The sale records that Balance received were several 100,000 lines, y'all. Beverly says Nashville is the buckle. Well, guess what, Beverly? It was Davidson County, which is in Nashville, was the only county in the whole, that was the only county in the 2016 election that went for Hillary Clinton. All the other counties went for Trump. Now, I'm not bringing up this political stuff, so don't y'all start. I'm just trying to give you an idea that when it comes to these big metropolitan cities, they do things a little bit different. Yeah, you can look up the statistics on it. The whole state went red except for Davidson County. And that was in Nashville. Oh, Lord. Let's change the subject now, y'all. Let's change the subject. That's true about Al Gore. Okay, let's change the subject, shall we? Okay. We're still waiting on Balance, who's reviewed several 100,000 lines of cell phone records. So, We know that there's a possibility that this is all going to be him for 30 more minutes. So does anybody want to take a guess who will be the next witness on the stand starting tomorrow? I want to hear it. Not who you want, but who you think is going to be on the stand. I want to hear it. No, they don't, John Shepard. Summer says dodging bullets. Tammy Brown says Summer. Summer says Karen Holling. Clumsy Carol Clairvoyance, Summer. Jody Allen says another FBI agent. A lot of y'all are saying Summer. Kathy Benya, Harley 62, Pam Keith, Yin Yang, John Shepard, Barbara Porter. Summy, says Danny B. Daughter of Scotland says Summer. Summer is new to me. Trial junkie. Summer is Lori's sister. Her name is Summer Shiplet. Mika Cream says FBI agent Lou. Kathy Benny says another FBI agent. She's already in town, says Carrie Ann. Oh, maybe I misunderstood something. Sorry. Janelle Murray just wants to be general about it, say one of Lori's family members. Boy, that's a safe bet, huh? Cooked Goose, Nate Eaton has said there should be about 30 more minutes. But it's not going to be another witness. Wood asked, ooh. Okay. Y'all, my battery's running down. Wood asked to admit an exhibit summarizing Balance's report. Thomas objects and says the exhibit is not complete. He wants to see the entire 101-page report rather than just a summary. Wood says prosecutors can provide the defense with the entire report, but Boyce overrules the objection, stating that summaries are allowed. Now, let me fix my phone here. Shit. Sorry, y'all, but it looks like... Hold on just a minute. My phone's gonna go. I think that's what's gonna happen. Let's see if I can get this to work. All right, y'all. It's getting to the end here. I had my thing hooked up and it came unhooked. This isn't like a freaking studio or anything. This is old KJ's house with my iPhone. That's all it is. Yeah, Clumsy Clairvoyance says it all. Thomas is such a buzzkill. So it seems to me that Thomas wanted that 101-page report rather than a summary, so he could put things off, basically. But Judge Boyce has overruled it. Candace Parr says, guess they figure they better have someone who likes Lori besides Satan. It is, Vicki McNutt. Tennessee is a beautiful place. We're waiting on an update here from Nate Eaton. Again, Wood says prosecutors can provide the defense with an entire report, but Boyce overrules the objection, stating that summaries are allowed. And it is currently, y'all, 3 o'clock on the dot p.m., or now it's 3:01 p.m. in Boise, Idaho. Now, Balance describes the drive test he conducted in the Rexburg area, showing where phones ping off of different towers. All right, y'all. I can always tell when my mind's starting to turn into jello. Nailing jello to a tree. I got a little over 3 hours this morning. Now we're getting into this. What old KJ will do for the Rays. Just think about that. Just think about all of the sacrifice of old KJ. No, it's an honor, y'all. It's an honor, really. Kim says Summer is allowed in court because she was designated official victim and representative of Tylee, just as Kay Woodcock was allowed to be in there because she was for JJ. That's correct. Just a recap on that. Yes, I do. Just looking, I need another Kit Kat, but I probably shouldn't eat all this. I still have supper to cook later. Oh, Grammy B, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, the only thing I'm saying is that after doing this all day, every day, it wears the brain down a little bit. I want to know so much what y'all are saying. And everything. At the same time, I'm trying to keep an eye on this. Nate Eaton answered that question last night in Courtroom Insider. Someone asked if they were going to release Tylee and JJ's bodies for burial before Chad Daybell's trial, and Nate Eaton said no. So you're looking at either end of this year or the beginning of next year, and it's a damn disgrace. And Nate Eaton wouldn't say no, they're not going to release it until after Chad's trial, unless he knew that to be true. He's a journalist. Because their bodies are evidence. That's why. It's a damn shame. Unless the state and the defense can get into a stipulation about it, where they both agree and go on the record saying, yes, we are not going to no longer need this. It's not going to happen, y'all. And the sad reality is they would need those bodies for evidence. Only the defense would, to try to rebut the fact that children were murdered. Chopping up and burning and burying a body in a pet cemetery isn't proof of homicide. Oh, it's not homicidal. It's not murder. If someone bounds a child up with duct tape and garbage bags, these people are idiots. That's right, Tina. They're not going to bring those kids' bodies into the courtroom. What they should do is finish up their damn testing and let these children go be buried. Feel very strongly about that. Mohawk Mom, I agree. Because the state and the defense could enter a stipulation, and the judge would sign off on that. And it would not be an appealable issue if they stipulated to it. Come on, Nate. Why is that, Curly Shirley? Lori appears to be having a lot of fun today with John Thomas. Let old KJ in on that. I don't see anything from Nate Eaton's blow by blow. What are you talking about? Now, Balance makes it clear that his mapping involves a phone, not a person. He is tracking a device, not an individual. I agree with that, Tracy Dale. I agree, Jill Schneider. Carolyn A says, all fun and games until that prison door is shut for good. Oh. Yeah, Jody Allen, that's true. 9 times out of 10, the person with the device, the device, wherever it's at, is with the person it belongs to. But again, is it a reasonable doubt to say, what if that was Lori out there using Alex's phone? Or what if it was Alex using one of Chad's phones? For God's sake, y'all, they had 10 plus phones apiece. You never know who had what. That, to me, y'all, is a reasonable doubt, unless you have other evidence that corroborates. Say they got a picture of Alex's. We know Alex was at Del Taco, and I drove that with Wayne from Lori's apartment to Chad's, and then when we came back into town, there was the Del Taco. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Donna Donald hears me. So it's probably buffering on someone else's part. I see my screen is perfectly good here. I apologize if y'all are hearing me go in and out, but maybe that's on your end. There's many on here that says they hear me fine, but some saying going in and out. It can't be my mic, because my mic on my Apple phone is in the Apple phone. It's buffering. Okay, folks. I don't want to waste any more of y'all's time on this. I guess my battery's running low. We have about 20 minutes left. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign off. And this will probably end the day on this FBI balance guy who's with the cash unit. We'll get back together in the morning. I don't want y'all having to deal with me not being able to be heard. I love you all. We'll get back together, y'all. Again, I don't see another witness coming up today. So we'll see you in the morning. I love you all. Keep on looking.